Okay, welcome to episode 35 of M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers podcast. I'm Jamie, the dyer behind m1yarns.com. And yes, this podcast episode looks vastly different than the norm. Usually, so if you're a new viewer, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new, usually I'm sitting behind a whole wall full of very colorful, wild yarn. Not today, my friends. Not today. For a very good reason, which I will explain as we get into it. But the long story short is I am literally hours away from going to northern lower Michigan, which I'm not from Michigan originally. And for those of us who are not from Michigan, I think that phrase sounds a little weird. Northern lower. Geography lesson. Michigan is, if this is like backwards for you, I'm sorry, but you get the gist. Michigan looks like a mitten, and if you're looking at it, the east looks like where your thumb is. So a mitten is the lower peninsula, and the upper peninsula is like an arm. So I am going up here to the Tip of the Mitt Fiber Festival, where I will be vending this weekend. By the time this goes live, it'll be happening. If you are in northern lower Michigan or lower northern Michigan, somewhere in between, long story short, if you are nearby, come on through and find my booth. I am so excited. I know that last year we had in-person fiber festivals and we were all like, wow, relishing in the fact that like we had made it through the darkest days of COVID. I don't know yet if that's truly true, because last Christmas when Omicron hit, that felt really dark and scary. But we're still here. We are once again in-person yarn shopping, and I'm super grateful because for me, when I started the yarn business, it was all about community. And while I love having a website, don't get me wrong, and I love having YouTube and Instagram and all of that, there is nothing better than actually letting folks touch the yarn and smell the yarn and feel the yarn, like hold it up to their skin tone and say, does this look good on me? And all that stuff. So I'm pumped for the weekend. So I will be there. So my yarn office is a mess. The last things on my to-do list before literally getting in the car tomorrow morning and driving up north is, number one, load the car, which I wanted to do this afternoon all by myself because I'm a control freak like that. But my husband said this morning, Jamie, I will help you when I get home from work. And I said, babe, what time will you be home from work? Because I don't want to be doing it too late. He assured me he's going to help me. So that is left to do. Fingers crossed. Everything is like packed and prepped. The other two things that I really wanted to do today was podcast, so here we are, and bake some muffins. And the muffins are in the oven. The timer is set, so if I get interrupted while we're recording, you'll know why. Anyway, so I made a cup of tea, and if you would like to grab a cozy drink and join me for this chat, I've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Wow, it's been a minute since I've been able to record, and I haven't done what I feel like is a ton of knitting, but I think collectively it's been like something to be proud of. Not, usually I'm a monogamous knitter. That's the problem. So, in case you want to know what I am knitting, Lord. This tea is amazing. Mighty Leaf Organic African Nectar, the loose leaf. I think you can get it on Amazon. And Pete's Tea, which is a website, they carry it. Excellent tea. So, oh my God, I love this tea. Let's start with like my longest standing whip, because last night I made a lot of progress and we are in the home stretch. It is a hoe, a half finished object. I've got one finished sock on my, I like to call these my Polaroid socks. So, if you have been around a while, I knit the Polaroid Sweater a few months ago. This is a design by Kraftling. That's her design name, but her given name is, I forget. Anyway, I'll try to insert it here. I loved, hello Jack, the dog, again. He just loves when I podcast. Are you trying to be in the episode? Do you mind? Okay, so anyway, I loved the color work. I loved the motif. So this is 1/4 of the yoke motif. And so I figured out how to take the chart, which is a 4-stitch repeat, and put it on a pair of socks. So I finished my first sock, and you like the sock? Thank you very much. And I had cast on my second, which I was really proud of myself for. I would not describe myself as a prolific sock knitter. I've knit several pairs, and I do enjoy it. I love the portability of socks. You just gonna stick by my side? I would like to, going forward, always have a pair of socks on the needles just for something very portable. But it's not my favorite because I do love sweater knitting. But last night, I got through the color work like all in one sitting. So that was pretty good. So now I can take this with me on my trip. And let me just tuck in these loose ends so it doesn't look so crazy. But you guys are knitters. You know what the deal is. So then I can just work on the leg. I don't imagine that this weekend I'll really have enough. I'll probably take another project with me, but I probably don't want to be working on the heel unless I have some real quiet time. This was so the previous, excuse me, the previous heels that I've done are the Fish Lips Kiss, and I really like that. But I've heard great things about the Shadow Wrap heel, and so I wanted to try that this time. And I used the video that Denise of, what's her, she has a YouTube channel. It escapes me. I'll insert it here if I can remember. The sock, she's like the sock genius. That's what I'm calling her. But anyway, she literally holds your hand and walks you through this heel on a video that's amazing. It's like anyone can do this. So at first, when I finished it, I'm a loose knitter. I thought my gauge on the heel itself looked a bit wonky, but after blocking it, okay, I felt like the camera was slipping. I think that's better. Anyway, so yeah, I'm almost done with that. And then I will have a matching sweater and pair of socks. I think that'll be really cute. What's next? I think I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast before, but after I had finished let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is the My Boy Lollipop by Ricci, who is getting pearly with it on Instagram. And she just had a make-along for this that ended the other day. And I'm going to show you, I actually cast on another one of these. I knit this like right before the pandemic started. This is a colorway I actually probably should bring back to the shop. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. Anyway, this is one of my original colorways. Anyway, you can wear this like more up like this or down like off the shoulder. Anyway, she just did a make along and I thought it'd be really fun to cast on another. So actually, let's talk about that. Let's set that to the side. So yeah, I cast this on. I don't know if I talked about this on a previous episode. This is 3 different yarns held together. My hot rod yarn in charcoal. Some sparkly yarn I had in my stash. And then some mohair I had purchased at Rhinebeck in, I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago. Anyway, holding them all together, and it's been smushed up in the bag, so it looks a little crazy. But I just split for the sleeves, or the body, or however you want to say it. So I've got the sleeve stitches on S.O.S cords, which these are in the shop if you're not familiar. And I also have a video on the YouTube channel that explains how to use these. They're super easy, and I tell you, they are lifesavers. So this is gonna be, I don't know if it's picking up like all the fuzz and sparkle. Yeah, there's the fuzz. And now you're kind of getting the sparkle. So this is gonna be like my dressier version of this. And so the neckline on this and in the pattern is seed stitch. Moss stitch? I don't know. I accidentally did ribbing on this one and decided, like, let's just go for it. What's the big deal? So that'll be another mod for this one, which will be nice because then these two will be quite different. So if you don't already follow Nancy, go check her out on Instagram for sure. She is lovely. So there's that. So now that I have separated for the body, that will cruise. I always feel like once you get past the sleeve separation, it's like you're on the good part. And this is my covered in fuzz madder root, I want to say. Project bag. Got this at Rhinebeck. Probably going to buy a couple more of these this year at Rhinebeck. Okay, so getting back to what I had started to talk about. After I had finished my Bee Mandarines Wild Posy in undyed alpaca a few months ago, I knew I wanted to knit it again because there are 2 versions, one lacy, one more texture, and I had already knit the lacy, and so I wanted to do the texture. And so I cast it on using, this is a strand of Lola Bean fingering weight I got at Rhinebeck 2019 with a strand of Lola Bean mohair I got at the same time with a strand of something I had in my stash. I can't remember what this is. Anyway, holding all three together, you get this amazing fabric. And look at that halo. Let's see if let me get my mug out of the way. I don't really, oh, now you're getting the halo. Yes. So, I did split for the sleeves, but for the sake of an amazing flat lay photo where I had like the whole yoke laying flat. Oh, this is gonna be like the thumbnail for this episode. I put the stitches on an S.O.S cord, and like ironed it so that it completely laid flat, so you could get the whole experience of this gorgeous flat lay. So basically, like, once I put it on two smaller S.O.S cords, so just the sleeve stitches will be on cords, and I'll knit the body. How great is that? Like, I just love the texture. We've talked about this before. I don't really like lace on the boob area. I find it hard to style. I like texture. So we had an episode called Lace on the Boobs. I think this one could be called Texture on the Boobs, but we'll save that for the finished object episode about this sweater. Anyway, let's see what else. I have been suffering from severe cast-on-itis lately. I'm telling you, I spend hours on Ravelry looking at my queue, looking at new patterns, looking at other people's queues, thinking about like all sorts of things. It's a problem. But I finally let myself cast on 2 new projects, and one of them I think will be something that takes a lot of time, so that's okay. It's okay to cast on and then do a little bit at a time. That's what I'm telling myself. So this is the Seaglass tee by Woolen Pine. And it's funny, wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out something. It's so funny on camera how it picks up the colors interestingly. I'm trying to get it so it doesn't roll up and you can actually, it's rolling up terribly and I'm sorry. So this is using 24 mini skeins from spilling out the bag. From last year's Advent kit, which is just super fun and colorful. Can you see all the goodness? So I just wanted this to be like really random. I'm not putting too much thought into how I grab my colors. I'm not putting too much care like I normally do into like, oh, I want the green by my face because I look great in green. Like, I put all that to the side and I'm just going for it. And I don't know, I think it's fun. It's something different. So I was knitting on this the other night, and my husband, who is an artist, he has a really good eye for color and a great eye for fashion. And I said, babe, what do you think? And he said, that's nice. And I said, don't you think this is different than my normal, like, earth tones kind of thing? And he was like, I mean, didn't you just knit something colorful? I'm like, what? Turns out he was talking about the Polaroid sweater I told you about in the beginning. Totally different looks, but anyway, men. And I don't mean that derogatorily. I just mean my husband. God bless him. He has an eye for art, so I don't know why he would say that. This is totally different, totally different. But I'm loving this. So the key problem with this, let's talk about this for a second. Number one, it's fingering weight. Great for summer, slow for knitting. Number two, it's 1x1 color work, slow. Number three, you change colors every round, and you do so using magic knot. So every round you stop and you join your 2 new colors to your 2 old colors. This is going to take a while. So, love it, but at the same time hate it. Moving on. So I said, well, since I've got this fingering weight slog knit, I should let myself cast on something a little bit faster. And I've been really dying to cast on Andrea Mowry's Metamorphic, which is crazy because every other Andrea Mowry pattern I have ever knit or cast on, and I specify the difference because I have ripped out several of her cast-ons. They're not my favorite patterns. They're not my favorite fits. I know they're popular. They don't work great for me. So this is a risk I'm taking here by doing this. But I cast it on. I'm loving it so far. And so far I am using this, which is Feederbrook Farm Entropy DK. This is 100% Blue Face Leicester in the colorway Theta. Oh, I have it all the way up here. You're probably like, Jamie, I can't see it. That's what you get when I'm reading. Anyway, I bought this online from CC's Wool. And then this is my own hand-dyed yarn on DK, the Easy Rider DK base. This is the colorway Denim. And this is what I've got so far. So the Feederbrook Farm is very similar to Spin Cycle, where it like changes color. So you can see up here it like starts almost like a soft turquoise, then it becomes brown, then purple, just kind of like the skein. So this was like only maybe 2 evenings worth of knitting, so pretty fast. Whereas the Seaglass tee was about a week-ish, maybe a little more worth of knitting. So quite the slog. So I won't dive too much into that, but I'm very happy with it so far. And I probably will finish it within like the next few weeks and not be able to wear it for months because it's now June. All right. Last but not least, because this cast-on-itis is so bad, I have really been like thinking about, really with purpose, what I want to cast on and why, how I would wear it and all that good stuff. All right, so I put this on my Instagram stories that I wound 20 skeins of this yarn, which is a merino silk 50-50 blend from Mirasol. It's called Tupa. It's discontinued. I've had this in my stash. Trying to get a good angle. Look at that shine from that silk. Isn't that gorgeous? And this is like totally my palette. Oh, I love it. I had 20 hanks of this, which totals 2,740 yards. I caked it all up in one go. Thank God I have an electric winder. And I was going to knit this dress. I'll insert a photo, which I've had in my queue for probably 5 years. And I've always wanted it, but I've always kind of had like, you know, that little voice in your head that's like, don't do it, don't do it. So my friend Gwen is quite the enabler, and she was like, oh yeah, you should do it. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. But the question is, would I wear it a whole lot? And then I thought I could even hold it with this cone of this. Hold on, I have too much going on in my hands right now. So this is like a thread. Look how thin that is. This is like 1, 2, 5 strands up here. That's why you can really see it. But this is 1 strand. So I don't, oh, it does say, hang on. It does say how many. It's 14 ounces. Who knows how many yards? Probably a billion. Just kidding. So I was gonna hold it for like some sparkly goodness. And I don't know, I had some pause. I was literally about to cast on. And I thought, no, let me go back to the drawing board and find another dress, maybe something long sleeve. The problem originated, let's talk about this. I have a little over 2,700 yards. The dress was only going to require like 1,600 yards, and I am very much of a waste not, want not kind of mindset. So I was like, well, I could knit the dress and then I could use the leftover yarn on a sweater. Cool. But then I thought, no, I don't know. Something's speaking to me. Long story short, hours later, I found a different pattern, a skirt and a sweater that go together. Here we go. So this is the bold stripes skirt with the bold stripes top by, and I can't find her name, but I'm going to insert it on the screen right here. And this pattern just came out in April 2022. And I thought this would be much more in my like wardrobe, able to style it. I could wear the skirt with something else. I could wear the top with something else like jeans. So this is really versatile. It's the right gauge. I'm excited. So I'm going to cast this on very soon. So it's actually a free pattern. If you go on Ravelry, she tells you like the pattern is free on her website. You just kind of have to follow the steps. Hold on, my muffins are done. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do with that yarn. So stay tuned on that. Last but not least, I've been really wanting to knit like a bralette or a tank top. The Tee Off Spring Make-Along is coming to a close in the next few weeks. So I highly encourage you to post to Instagram with the hashtag or Ravelry in the community forum for the podcast, which is linked below. along with all the show notes and whatnot. Your tees and tanks that you've cast on and or finished during the make along, which started at the beginning of spring and runs through June 21st. And so I thought, well, I'm running the make along. There are prizes, so make sure to enter. I thought I'm running the make along. I should knit a tank or a bralette or something. And so I've had the Globe Braid Bra by Taylor E. Owen in my queue for quite some time, and I thought I would really love to make it. Well, I dyed some yarn for Wool and Honey, the yarn shop in Cedar, Michigan, several months ago for their Sleeping Bear Yarn Club, and I dyed some for myself because, you know, I can. And this is the Freshwater Jewel colorway. And so I'm going to try to knit that this month. It should be pretty fast. I mean, it's no sleeves. I am going to lengthen it to make it more of like a tank, like a crop tank, instead of just a bra. Like, because otherwise it just ends like there's a band under your bust. And I mean, I like to wear my knits out, so, and I'm too old to just wear it out. Like, that's not cute. Anyway, so the skirt and sweater combo and the bralette tank are what I'm casting on next. So I need to hurry up and finish some of these whips. And so that's what I'm working on these days. What are you working on? The next episode, if you're watching this weekend, next week when I get back from the Fiber Festival, I will be adding to the website all the kits and new colorways to the shop that I had in my booth this weekend, or I should say whatever's left over. I did hold some stuff back for you guys. So there will be a newsletter that's going out. So please sign up for my newsletter on my website, m1yarns.com. So you'll be first to hear about all the site updates. And let's see. I hope to be bringing you some finished object videos soon. And I think that's about it. So thanks for joining me. I hope that your late spring / beginning of summer is off to a great start, and I will see you next time. Bye.